What's going on, everybody? This is Average Discussion. Thank you for joining me today here at Studio Silverado. I am home, but you know what? It's just easier to do this in here. Today is Friday, April 5th, 2024. It's about 45 degrees just outside the Salt Lake City area. For historical reasons, should everything collapse after the eclipse on the 8th, and they find everything 10,000 years later, and this podcast is the only thing they're able to restore. They'll know what they can exploit the human race out of or the surviving race, whatever that may be. They can exploit them for about $3.68 a gallon of gasoline. So that's where we're at. It was warmer today. I was outside doing some work, and arguably I was sweating. It was pretty warm. I guess maybe I wasn't sweating. I was using a pressure washer, but yeah, nonetheless, it was definitely warmer. The sun was out. It was nice. And now we got some clouds rolling in. The winds have kicked up. It's rather crazy, to say the least. All right, so getting right into it. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have probably already heard about it. I'm sure there's probably 1,500 different conspiracies out about it. I'm sure people are getting TikTok famous. But there was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey and New York area. So that happened today. Pretty uncommon, from what I understand, to have earthquakes in the Atlantic coastline area, but experts are saying that it can happen. It has nothing to do with all the weird shit going on in the world right now. It just happens, right? Listen, I believe them. I believe that it just happens. All I'm saying is it's kind of hard to ignore the things that people are saying because a lot of lines are connecting. It's definitely difficult. But according to the Geological Survey, Friday's 4.8 magnitude earthquake was the strongest to hit New Jersey in nearly 250 years. It came 2 days after a 7.4 magnitude rocked Taiwan, leaving at least 9 people dead and nearly 1,000 injured and hundreds of others trapped. So again, I hope everybody's okay in Taiwan. Obviously they're not, but I hope a majority of them are. Tough situation nonetheless, and hopefully, I wish them nothing but the best. I try to avoid saying like my thoughts are with them and stuff like that. I feel like that kind of stuff's overrated. You know what I mean? Excuse me. I got a lot of crap in my nose. Been working in some dusty areas. I probably shouldn't be sniffling like that, but hey, it is what it is. But again, I also hope that everybody in the New York and New Jersey area is doing okay as well. I didn't see anything that suggested there was any, significant damage or anything like that. They did halt airline traffic for about 20 minutes. They delayed some bridge traffic to inspect the bridges to make sure there was no issues, which that was probably smart given everything going on with bridges, right? But to the best of my knowledge, nothing super crazy happened there with them. A 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit New Jersey and shook New York City just days before a solar eclipse. Oh, yeah, no, this is a different article. So, it's an opinion article. Sorry, I kind of got ahead of myself. So, staying with the earthquake news, this opinion article out of USA Today, this kind of ties into what I was talking about on the Average Discussion Live episode 2, where I was talking about, does the earthquake in Taiwan kind of eliminate the idea that perhaps maybe it's God hates America? Because, he shook the hell out of Taiwan, right? So, ironic that I would come across this article on USA Today. It's an opinion article, okay, but it says, how serious is a 4.8 earthquake in New York City? Serious enough to prove God hates America. That's right. That just happened. Now, he puts a different spin on it, but check this out. He says, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit New Jersey and shook New York City just days before a solar eclipse will bring darkness across the land, and a month or so before a dual emergence of cicadas, which are basically locusts with a dietary self-control. Conspiracy theorists were quick to pounce on these developments with ridiculous postulations, but thankfully, there's a simple explanation. God hates us, and we're all about to die. When confusing natural phenomena occur, I always turn to the wisest among us, and Friday was no different. Not long after the quake was reported, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on social media, God is sending America's strong signs to tell us to repent. Earthquakes and eclipses and many more things to come. I pray that our country listens. She's putting a praying hands emoji at the end, which is a signal that this is serious. I think I might follow this guy. I kind of like that. Because he's right. I literally just said that, right? in the intro I was talking about, there's probably already a bunch of people who made, 1,500 people have made conspiracy videos out of it. It's crazy it's crazy and impressive, to be fair, how quickly some of these people can get that stuff up. I mean, it's rather impressive, to be fair, but it's also kind of scary crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know. But this is my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing about politics, how they can literally turn everything into their agenda. Everything immediately gets turned into their agenda. But at the same time, like I said, with everything kind of going on, it's hard to ignore a lot of it, right? Because it's like, man, maybe these people are onto something. Maybe they are. I don't know. My brain tells me to ignore it, right? But again, if you listen to what some of these people say, it's hard to stay focused on the fact that perhaps they're, just wrong. Maybe they're right. I think that what if part has to play a part, because it's just super strange. All this seems to be happening pretty quickly, right? And there's stuff about CERN out there. There's these earthquakes. There's the eclipse coming. There's the eclipse from 7 years ago that they say is tied into the eclipse coming. There's governments releasing information saying prepare for to have 3 to 4 days worth of food and yada yada, or 2 weeks worth of food in some places. Top off your cars, right? It's super hard to look at all that and then dismiss everything that these people are saying. That's the only point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying I believe them. Okay, I haven't panicked, gone to the store and bought water and all that stuff. Maybe I should. I don't know. But it's hard to dismiss it all. Is all I'm getting at. And yeah, I don't know. But of course, the politicians are going to use it for their vote for me again, so that I can maintain my job. Meanwhile, everybody else is getting screwed over. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But I don't know if you saw the video that I did on the socials, but I don't even know that I ever even talked about it. So I'm going to talk about it today. The other day I came across this article on Fox News, and it said that Google is to destroy billions of records after lawsuit accuses tech giant of secretly tracking users. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. When I did the episode, my wife told me I need to make sure that I know what episode when I reference them. She's amazing. She's so much smarter than me too. Way better looking. Way smarter too. But anyways, she told me that I need to do that, and she's absolutely right, because I did talk about not too long ago on one of the other episodes that I was discussing the TikTok ban legislation that's kind of come back around, right? And the leading thing with that is that they don't want these companies to have access to data of American people, right? Which I 100% dismiss. And the reason that I said that was because of things like this. It's no different than what everybody else is doing. So they're saying it's national security. But the only reason it's national security is because now other people can get that same information. Right? And I guess you can look at that and you could be like, well, yeah, I mean, we don't want them to know the things that we know, but I don't want them to know the shit that they know. That's the point I'm trying to make. These guys are in bed with all these other companies doing the same thing. I came across something where there's some gag order on, oh hell, I can't remember what kind of company it was, but basically push notifications that go to your cellular devices, they upload that information. And there's a gag order where they can't talk about it. I want to say it was a phone company. I could be wrong though. Man, I'm gonna have to look into that. But that's the point I'm trying to make is I don't want our own country companies to do this stuff any more than I want an outside one. But you know what? Here's where I sit with it. I think at this point, the way things have kind of gone on, the way things are going down, I think I trust TikTok more than Google. That's how I feel. It has become increasingly hard, because I like to talk about other theories. It's not that I believe in them, right? But I like to talk about them. They're interesting to me. The topics are interesting, right? It's becoming increasingly more difficult to find these things. And I know that's because Google changed something. They had to have, because I used to be able to find it no problem, right? And so you can't tell me that there's not some back end agenda being done that is instituted by the government. I think everybody knows that, just nobody can prove it for obvious reasons, right? Nobody's going to give you the knowledge to overthrow them, right? That's kind of the thing. So, I don't know. But if you didn't see that, they're going to destroy a bunch of records because they don't want anybody to know what the fuck they were doing. But nobody's going to say shit about that. Nobody's going to say a damn thing about that. Nobody's going to get, no Shark Tank, venture capitalist is going to come out and try to buy them. I don't know. Another thing I talked about when I was discussing the socials, I said I was on Threads, and I'm not even convinced that there's any real people on Threads. Excuse me. Well, it turns out there's a theory about this. I just found this today, by the way. Very interesting. It's called the dead internet theory. And the dead internet theory is an online conspiracy theory that asserts that the internet now consists mainly of bot activity, BOT, right? And automatically generated content manipulated by algorithmic curation, marginalizing organic human activity to manipulate the population. Proponents of the theory believe that these bots were created intentionally to help manipulate algorithms and boost search results in order to manipulate consumers. Doesn't surprise me. In fact, it's literally what I was referring to. It's crazy. Some proponents of the theory accuse government agencies of using bots to manipulate public perception, saying the date given for this death is generally around 2016 to 2017. So they're saying since about 2016, 2017, they believe that the U.S. government has agencies that are using this type of stuff for propaganda purposes. That's how I read that. And which is funny because what have we been talking about since former President Trump was president? Election fraud. We've been talking about people hacking it, this and that, right? And I know when that was a big thing, I know that I've said this. I don't know that I recorded it, but I've stated for a long time that election fraud is a bigger threat from our own internal government. Of course it's rigged. It's 100% rigged. That's why we get two options. And then we get the illusion that we have a say in it. Crazy. But here's some of the claims that they have. It says the dead internet theory has two main components. Oh, yeah, I read all that already. Sorry. The first part of this theory, that bots create much of the content on the internet and perhaps contribute more than organic human content, which I do believe that. I've tried interacting for probably about the last 5 months. What was I going to say? Definitely at least the last 30 days on a high level, right? And I very rarely get any kind of conversation with other people. Very rarely, right? It says, has been a concern for a while with the original post by Illuminati Pirate, citing the article, How Much of the Internet is Fake? Turns out a lot, actually, in New York Magazine. The second half of the dead internet theory builds on the observable phenomenon by proposing that the U.S. government, corporations, and other actors are intentionally employing these bots to manipulate the human population for a variety of reasons. In the original post, the idea that bots have displaced human content is described as the setup with the thesis of the theory itself focusing on the United States government being responsible for this. I'm just going to say, I believe that. I was I was pretty stuck in my realm on social media before I decided to kind of reboot this whole show thing, right? And so since doing that, I've been trying to obviously advertise a lot more, get the information out there, get some engagement, and it just is not taking off. And so I've been leaning towards, like, if I don't pay them, I'm kind of screwed. You know what I mean? I'm relying on word of mouth because that's what I think is best, but I don't know that it's going to work because it's so set up for them to make money. Now, that's been my opinion on the matter, right? And I'm wondering now, after coming across this theory, like, what if this guy's right? I mean, the guy, I don't think is the one who started it, but he obviously made it a big thing, right? And yeah, I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I think it might be, I think it might be true. I really do. It just seems like everything is generated for nothing more than promoting the post to get more attention. They don't give a shit. It's not like, I guess it's like music, right? You have some music that it touches your soul, right? But then you have a bunch of music that just gets put out, like Beyonce's new album, for ego and to just increase numbers, right? And I think that's what a lot of it is, man. And maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I decided to postpone this stuff for so long that now I'm behind the curve and it's an uphill fight. That's very possible too, you know what I mean? But it's a hard one to ignore. That's all I'm going to say. But in other news though, so, Alabama said, "Hey, this is what we do with our family." And Sean Diddy Combs, he decided to tell Alabama, "Hey, hold my beer," because Sean P. Diddy Combs' son is accused of sexual assault in lawsuit that also names music mogul as defendant. So, talk about keeping it in the family, huh? I mean, no disrespect to anybody in Alabama. It's just a good joke, I think. And I know it's not true, but they're probably tired of hearing it. So now that I say it out loud, it sounded a lot funnier in my head. Sorry if I offended you. But it's a common joke. I don't care what anybody says. It's a common joke. At least in the military, it was pretty common. At least my time in the military. I don't know if it is now. Can't speak on that. But yeah, how crazy is that? Apparently his son is being accused of sexual assault in the lawsuit. And the defendant is Mr. Combs. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mother and daughter arrested for performing illegal butt injections caught in a sting operation in Texas. The women apparently were not even sure what was in the injectables, described as an unlabeled brown liquid, court documents said. So I'm not even going to try to say that name. 56-year-old and her daughter, Isabella, Consuela Dalbo, 56, and her daughter, Isabella Dalbo, 18, have been charged with practicing medicine without a license, which is a misdemeanor. Okay. So court documents reveal the women went to a home to perform the butt injections on a customer who was actually an undercover peace officer, and they planned to charge $6,000 for the service. Listen to me. I will do it for $2,000. I'll come stab you in the butt with a needle full of saline for $2,000. All right? Jeez Louise, I'm in the wrong business, man. Because these are the ones that got caught. But how many of them are doing it and don't even... Man, I'm in the wrong business. Listen, I don't know who's... Like, outside of, like, necessity or hospice, I don't know who's having doctors come to their house after this. That's all I'm saying. The women apparently were not even sure what was in... Oh, I read all that already, too. Gosh dang it, Chris. Get your life together. This fundamentally demonstrates how remarkably dangerous these acts were, the prosecutor wrote. So, don't trust anybody coming to stick a needle in your butt, okay? Yeah. We're not sticking those things in our butts in 2024. All right. The White House, check this one out. This one's interesting. The White House directs NASA to create a standard of time for the moon. The differing gravitational force on the moon and potentially other factors change how time unfolds relative to how it's perceived on Earth. All I want to know is, are they celebrating daylight savings time? Do they have to partake in that? Are they going to move the clocks back twice a year? A back and ahead? Play some weird game of industrial roulette? I don't know. Crazy. You know, time zones are interesting to me. I was kind of looking at, like, time zones make sense to me. Time zones absolutely make sense to me. But what doesn't make sense to me is why we have AM, PM, right? And I didn't realize this till after I joined the Army. But the 24-hour clock just makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense. Like, when I say 4 now, I have to tell you if it's AM or PM. But if I said 1600, you'd have no doubt. Because you would know exactly what it is. And we used to do everything off of Zulu time, which was just like a place that they picked, I'm sure, for a specific reason. I don't know what that reason was. But either way, it was a place that was picked. And no matter where you were, you reported things off of that time. Now, you still had your internal times, right? So, like, if you were in Afghanistan and you were said, oh, here's your hit time, be there at this time, most of the time they would still use the local time. But when you sent up important information, it was under Zulu time, all right? And it just created this thought in my head that why don't we just do that for everything? Why isn't everything just based off of that? And I don't know. Why we gotta be special and just have our own times for different places? Super strange. If you really think about it, I think it's kind of strange. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I get time zones. That does kind of make sense because, it, I don't know. I really just feel like it's to manipulate the workforce, and to keep us fucking going. Maximize the daylight so they can produce more. That's what I really think. I don't know. But if you didn't know, NASA's going to try to create a time standard for the moon. The head of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, OSTP, according to a memo seen by Reuters, instructed the space agency to work with parts of the U.S. government to devise a plan by the end of 2026 for setting what it called a coordinated lunar time, LTC. So now we're just going to have to also be like, I'm streaming live at 4, which is 17 LTC. And people are going to be confused as shit. Anyways, so if you didn't know, time zone on the moon. If you follow the Facebook page, you probably saw this. I don't think I got it out to the other socials. I ended up getting kind of busy at work. But a woman goes viral. This is from Fox News. A woman goes viral for sharing bizarre reason she was turned down for a job. Now, I didn't read the article, but the caption says, "Can't make this up. A TikToker claims a hiring manager said she lost out on an opportunity because she didn't put enough effort into her appearance." And I didn't read into it because I don't need to really hear how people, I don't know. I'm just going to give my opinion. Okay. So I think it's crazy that people, I was doing employment recruiting for my job when I first started. Okay. And so my job was to reach out to applicants and bring them in for interviews. Now, I wasn't doing the interviews with them unless it was like a case where supervisors or whatever were unable to do it. But I would greet them and make sure that everything was squared away. You know what I mean? I'd make sure that I had their resume printed out for the supervisors. I'm doing everything that I can to try to get these people in the door, right? And it amazed me how many people would show up to work to an interview in like shorts or flip-flops or just a t-shirt. It was super strange to me, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we do anything super classy where I work. I'm covered in grime right now, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm that old, but maybe I am that old, where I just feel like it was always pressed upon me that there's certain things in life that you put your best dress on for, funerals, weddings, job interviews, you know what I mean? Like those were all encompassed into the same thing. And it amazed me, the amount of people that would come in. And I learned why. It's because these businesses just need so many people. They don't care anymore. So the businesses kind of let that standard fall, right? So kudos to this company. I hope that is the reason they didn't hire them. I hope the reason they didn't hire them is because they had inappropriate attire. Now, maybe if I read the article, it would have told me what she was wearing. Maybe she wasn't wearing anything that crazy. Okay. But just based off the caption, I'm going to assume it was something that was inappropriate, right? Whether that be a super short skirt or a super open revealing blouse, right? Is that not, even though it might be nice, is that not the same level of inappropriate attire as flip-flops or shorts to an interview? I don't know. I guess it's on the individual to make that opinion, right? But in my mind, people, the fact that she went to TikTok and was complaining about it. Now, again, I don't know what she was wearing. So maybe it really wasn't that bad, but I'm just going to go with the assumption that it was, okay? So just hear me out. Maybe I'm completely wrong by that because I did not read the article. I have not seen the video, okay? But just going off the assumption that it was inappropriate, right? Or wasn't what they were looking for. Because if this is like an upscale business job, they have a standard of dress. You know what I mean? Like what my wife has to wear to work is much different than what I'm expected to wear to work. You know what I mean? And it's because they're two different cultures of job. So, but here's the part that I emphasized on the Facebook page. It was that, for this lady to go out there and make a video about it, people misunderstand the fact that a job cannot discriminate against you based off of sex, religion, race, those things, right? But if they have a standard of how you should be appearing, technically they have a right to that. Now it can't. Now if you're like obese, right? They can't not hire you because you're obese. But if assuming that they put the information out of what was expected for how to arrive, and you don't follow through with that, you can't be mad. You can't. It's I don't know. Like, I think I support it. If I'm being 100% honest, I think I support it because I think it's a huge detriment to our society. Like what we've kind of allowed ourselves to do. You go to the store and how many people you see in pajamas? It's embarrassing. And I understand that, like, sometimes you just got to run real fast. I do understand that. But do we have to run so fast that we can't put a pair of pants on that aren't pajamas? And I get that there's comfort. Like I'm wearing slippers right now. I feel like they're decent, appropriate slippers, but I'm wearing them with my pants and my regular shirt, right? So I think there's ways that you can integrate some of that, but I don't know. It's like the girls that all wear the workout gear everywhere, It's an image. It's something that they're buying into, right? And I think with the pajamas thing, it's convenience and laziness. That's what I really believe. I don't even like. I have a decent pair of black sweats that are like cargo sweats. I don't even know that I really like wearing those into public. I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe it's just the way that I was brought up. But I also don't think that that's a bad viewpoint to have. I think there's something to be said about presenting yourself in an appropriate way. We just went through a big change in my job, and one of the guys that I lost, he ended up going over to the other company, and I told him, I said, listen, man, here's some personal advice for you. Clean yourself up. Get a new pair of work pants, get a new work shirt, get a haircut, go in there and present yourself like you're somebody who knows what you're doing. Give them a good impression up front, because if you just go over there like, at this point, he's worked for me for, I don't know, at least a year, if not longer. I think it's definitely been longer. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to do that. He shows up in his work clothes and it is what it is, right? But you're going to impress new people. And I don't care what anybody says. Impressions matter. I mean, the Army definitely reinforced that to me. We would do these dress uniform inspections, right? And you get the whole company, sometimes the whole battalion, probably even the brigade level sometimes, right? And everybody would have to show up and you'd get information. You'd be standing there in your dress uniform. And you could always tell who the shitbags were immediately. Those were the dudes that literally waited till the night before or the day of to try to assemble all their stuff. It hadn't been dry cleaned. It hadn't been pressed. There's wrinkles everywhere. Their shit's crooked. They just look like smashed ass. And the thing is that it had an impact on everybody else around them, whether they wanted to believe that it did or didn't. Because once that happened, the entire squad, team, platoon, company, whatever, was looked at as having unsquared away people, right? And you could see it instantly, and sure, go ahead, make the argument that, well, that's military life versus civilian. You should be able to do, what you want within reason and blah, blah. I get that. Trust me, I understand that. But what's wrong with that mentality? And I would argue nothing. Is it a bad thing that I expect my kids to dress a certain way when we go to certain events? I don't think that it is. They probably do. But I think it's a show of respect for yourself, personally. And you're presenting yourself, and you represent more than just yourself. You represent everything that's built you to be who you are. And so when you show up, that could be family, that could be friends, that could be previous employers. Like, you're a representation of everything that you've gone through, right? And so when you show up unprepared, I think that's a sign of disrespect, personally, to yourself included. You should be presenting yourself the best way that you can. And again, let me emphasize, I don't really know what this lady was wearing. I doubt the picture that's on there is what she was really wearing. Excuse me. But again, I don't see anything wrong with the mindset. I just don't. I don't know. We're 30 minutes into this. One sec. I just gotta send a message real fast. Okay, there we go. All right. So in some sports news, Bronny James, the son of NBA superstar LeBron James. If you don't know who that is, you probably passed your expiration date, because you should definitely know who he is. The dude's massive superstar. But Bronny James, his son, who currently plays for USC, I saw an article the other day talking about how he was going to enter the transfer portal, and his dad had said something about, he wants to play with winners, and apparently USC isn't the group of winners that we thought. That's a bold statement, but hey, I guess if anybody's going to make it, it might as well be LeBron James. So Bronny James is entering the 2024 NBA draft. He announced on social media he'll maintain his college eligibility and will also enter the transfer portal. So, as my son enlightened me on earlier today, it sounds like he's just going to do some workouts, see what his chances are, but he's still looking to transfer. Listen, more power to you, man. I mean, go to wherever you feel like you have the best success. I've always felt that I feel like LeBron James is holding out in hopes that he can play at least one season with or against his son. That's what I personally believe. And I think that'd be super awesome. That would be historical. It'd be super cool. I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan. I'm not a huge hater of him. I'm just not the biggest fan, but I think that would be a pretty cool thing to see, for him, and as a fan, I think that'd be pretty cool to see. But either way, that might be a reality if he does decide to enter the 2024 NBA draft. So that's where we're going to leave off. I don't think I saved any funny memes today. Like I said, it kind of got hectic at work. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do this today, but why not? Wife had a doctor's appointment. The kids can go pick up the daughter. So I'm just sitting in the truck. Haven't even gone inside yet. I literally pulled into the driveway. I haven't even got out of the truck yet. That's how much you guys mean to me. I want to make sure I get this out there. No, I mean, why not? I'm not doing anything else anyways. So, but I don't think I have any funny memes. Let me see. I'll go through real quick, just real fast. Nope. Yep. Oh, that's here we go. Here's a good one. It's like a tweet picture thing I found. It says, "That's weird that God made 7 days and then named them after other gods." That was pretty good. All right. That's my joke. That's my joke for the day. Hey, thank you for joining me though. Seriously, I do appreciate it. I think I'm going to do the information on where you can find me and all that good stuff and the updates towards the end, in case you don't want to, stick around for that stuff because you've heard it 100 times. So if this is your first time here, what is average discussion? Well, this is pretty much it. I usually do final thoughts, but I don't really have any today. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. Yeah, it's been a long week. My voice is a little raspy. I arguably need some water. I need to have better habits. But this is what I do. I just talk about random stuff. I like to look at the articles. I feel like they give me good talking points. I try not to focus on the big headline stuff, but an earthquake in New York, I got to kind of put that in there, right? I try to stay away from politics, but we live in a political world, and it's ignorant to assume that you shouldn't pay attention to it at least a little bit, because it affects our life. You know what I mean? That's just my take on that. But I try not to be overbearing about it. I try not to get super in depth. I don't favor one side or the other any more than the other. I agree with some things on both sides, and I disagree with some things on both sides. I try to just give my perspective and my opinion on it and hold true to that. These episodes will be done hopefully Monday through Friday. I'm gonna try to do that Monday through Friday. They'll be uploaded every day by 4 p.m. That's the goal. Because my schedule changed. I used to do them in the morning, but here we are. Life is life. And unless you want to sponsor me with a bunch of money to do this professionally, I still have to pay the bills. So that's where I'm at on that. I try to keep them between 30 to 45 minutes because I feel like that's a good amount of time for people to listen to them while they're commuting to or from work, or leaving school, or just hanging around for a minute. I I think longer ones are absolutely great, but in my own experience, it's hard for me to follow them. So I assume it's probably hard for other people to follow them. And I end up spending 2 days trying to listen to one episode. Or I just never go back to it. I never finish it. And I don't want that. So I try to keep them between 30 to 45 minutes. They'll be released on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, youtube.com, the channel's Average Discussion. Podbean, I have to upload them through my computer because Podbean's weird. But yeah, they're in a lot of places. They're not on Apple Music just at the moment because I haven't been able to get into that dang thing. And I keep forgetting about it when I do have time to look into it more from a desktop. So I definitely need to get on the ball with that. I will try to do that. As I've stated before, this show is sponsored by Procrastination, sold at a store near you. I try to make fun of some things, make some jokes here and there. I wouldn't say that I'm always PC, politically correct. Arguably, I'm probably not. I say some shit sometimes. I was trying to stop cussing, but I think I'll just reduce the amount of cussing because it asks me if it's explicit and I can check yes or no. So why ask me if I can't do it? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. But yeah, that's what I do. Now I'm trying out a new venture over on Podbean. Okay. I'm trying to do live interactive episodes, and so far I've done 2. The first one was okay. The second one took 3 tries to get right. But I want to do about 2 of those to start out with right now. I don't know that I'm prepared to do, every episode live right now and be interactive. I don't think I'm fresh enough with how it's supposed to go, but I want to do at least 2 of those a week. Right now I don't have days set for that. I'm thinking Wednesday and possibly one of the weekend days. I'm going to do a trial run this weekend over on Podbean. Time to be determined. So follow the socials if you want to know. I'll put it up there. I'll try to do it before the half-hour mark. But I don't know what the traffic's like. So in terms of viewers and listeners, right? So I'm going to do a trial run over there for the weekend just to kind of see how it goes. I'll do a little episode and just see how it goes. And then I'll be able to make a better decision, I think. But I want to do one that's just guest specific. So me and a guest talk and we can answer to chats. Maybe I'll entertain some calls in that. But right now that's kind of just the plan for that. Like live with an audience and a specific guest. But then I want to do one that's kind of like fan interaction type thing where I just start talking. And if you want to join in. Let's do it. I'll probably venture over to Twitter or X and try out a space. Because it sounds like it's the same thing. I just didn't know about it till I already started the Podbean venture. So I think it's going to be very similar, but we'll see. I don't know that I'm going to do that just yet because Twitter's kind of got some weird people in it. But hey, you know what? Maybe Podbean does too. I don't know. I guess I just got to be okay with the weird. But that's what I do here. All right. I'm always open to ideas. I'm always open to topics of conversation. So if you've got one, please reach out to me. Let me know. Let's figure out a game plan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So where can you find the show? Well, you can find the show on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Podbean, YouTube. Everything's under Average Discussion. Okay. So you should have no problem finding it. In terms of social media, where can you find me? You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Average Discussion. On Instagram, you guessed it, Average Discussion. On Threads, same thing, Average Discussion. On X, though, it's at AVG Discussion. And that one, I think I'm going to put more of my focus on because Threads is weird. I like Threads because it's pretty much Twitter. In fact, it almost looks identical. But I'm not getting any interaction over there. Threads is super strange to me. That's where the dead internet is really taken off. But on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter, at AVG Discussion. So if you got a Twitter account, please head over there, give me a follow. You'll get all the information. You'll get the links. You'll get the updates. You'll get all that stuff. And if we do the spaces, you'll be able to join. So that'd be pretty cool. But for Podbean, if you want to go over there and be a part of the live experience, you're going to need to create an account, follow Average Discussion. And I'm not sure if it alerts you when I go live. I like to think that it does. But I put the live links on all the socials. So you should be able to find it. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're at the 40-minute mark. I don't want to take too much of your time up because your time is valuable and my time is valuable as well, as long as I do something productive with it. So, hey, thank you for listening. I really do hope you enjoy the show. I really appreciate the support that I've gotten already. Thank you. Thank you so much. And just keep helping me out if you got the time. That's all I ask. And huge shout out to all you guys for supporting me. So, hey, as always, guys, please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. Until next time, I'm out.